Assalamu alaikum. We are at the Paul Lawrence Dunbar house in Dayton, Ohio. Born on June 27, 1872, in Dayton, to former slaves Joshua and Matilda Dunbar, Paul Lawrence Dunbar developed a love of stories during his early years. He wrote his first poem at age 6 and recited his original Easter ode at age 9 to the congregation of the Ecker Street AMC Church. An Easter ode: to the cold dark grave they go, silently and sad and slow, from the light of happy skies and the glance of mortal eyes. In their beds the violets spring, and the brook flows murmuring. But at eve the violets die, and the brook in the sand runs dry. In the rusty blushing morn, see the smiling babe is born. For a day it lives, and then breathes its short life out again, and anon gaunt visaged death, with his keen and icy breath, bloweth out the vital fire in a hurry-headed sire, heeding not the children's wail. Fathers droop and mothers fail, seeking sadly from each other. Sister parts from loving brother. All the land is filled with wailing, shouts of mourning, garment trailing, with the sad portent imbued, making melody subdued. But in all this death of woe, this consoling truth we know. This consoling truth we know. There will come a time of rain, and the brook will flow again. Where the violet fail, 'twill grow. When the sun has chased the snow, see in the lesson plain, mortal man shall rise again. Well, the prophecy was kept. Christ, first fruit of them that slept, rose the fig tree circled brow. So believing one shalt thou. But there shall come a day when, unhampered by this clay, soul shall rise to life newborn on the resurrection morn. Wow. A 6-year-old wrote this. Wow. Talented. At age 17, Dunbar developed and edited the first Dayton African American newspaper, the Dayton Tatler, printed by Orville and Wilbur Wright, with such notable titles as Majors and Minors and Lyrics of the Lowly Life. In 1896, Dunbar finished 4 collected volumes of short stories, 4 novels, 3 published plays, lyrics for 13 songs, 14 books of poetry, 400 published poems, and uncounted essays on social and racial topics over a 13-year period. These works helped him achieve national recognition and international acclaim as America's first professional writer of African American heritage. He died in Dayton on February 9th, 1906. So I did a little research to find out this information. Dunbar had also become an alcoholic. Doctors prescribed whiskey and other spirits for TB in those days, which worsened the condition, and Dunbar had also become dependent on the drink to cope with pressures of fame and heavy work demands. Dunbar died on February 9th, 1906 at the age of 33. Before we went on the tour, a college student dressed as Alice Dunbar gave a nice presentation on Alice Dunbar and gave us some great information on her life and her relationship with Paul.
My name is Alice Dunbar Nelson. I was born in New Orleans in 1875, a place full of culture, but also with the weight of division. I found my voice early through books, teaching, and through my writing. I studied at Straight University, now known as Dillard University, determined to educate not only myself, but others. Writing was my liberation. At 20, I published Violets and Other Tales, and later, The Goodness of St. Roque, stories rooted in Creole life and the struggles of identity. I married the poet, Paul Laurence Dunbar, but our marriage did not last. His genius was undeniable, but so was his violence. After our marriage ended, I continued writing, teaching, and fighting for justice. I spoke out for women's suffrage, civil rights, and the power of education. I passed for white when it suited survival. I wrote for black newspapers, organized clubs, and stood up when silence was easier. Through the Harlem Renaissance and into 2 world wars, I believed that my pen wielded with truth and could become a blade. Much of my life stayed in the margins, including parts of myself I couldn't share openly. But I wrote honestly, lived purposefully, and believed deeply in the power of words. If you remember me, let it not be only as a footnote to a man's fame, but as a writer, an activist, a woman who dared, both on the page and the streets, to demand a better world. I now will recite a poem entitled You, Inez. Orange gleams athwart a crimson soul, lambent flames. Purple passion lurks in your dusk eyes, red mouth, flowers soft. Your soul leaps out and flashes, starlight, white, flame hot. Curving arms encircling a world of love. You, stirring the depths of passionate desire. Thank you.
That was intense.
Do you all have any questions for me? Yes,
I like
sir.
your intensity.
Thank you very much.
I didn't realize that she was abused.
Yes, Paul was an alcoholic. He was physically violent. Before they got married, he actually raped her.
Before he got, what's
They,
it?
she was sexually assaulted violently by Paul.
After they got engaged, obviously.
Yes.
But they got engaged that evening, I read. After they met.
They got engaged the evening after they met.
Because they had correspondence letters there. Did they know each other in the past? How did they meet? Because I know they were talking
Yes.
through correspondence before. When they physically met, then he got engaged to her that
Yes.
evening.
So she was writing in a newspaper.
Okay.
And he saw her photo alongside one of her, one of her works in the newspaper. And he reached out to her and then correspondence began over mail
Oh,
for about
okay.
2 years.
Blind dates. Better than Tinder, y'all. What you
Who
single?
was her parents?
I'm sorry.
What was the
No,
ethnicity of
question.
Ethnicity of her parents.
Yeah, that's
I got you. Alice's mother, her name was Patricia Wright. She was a seamstress born into slavery, and she was a slave until the Emancipation Proclamation came into the process. Her father, the identity of her father is a little unknown. It's debated. On her birth certificate, it says Monroe Moore. On her sister's birth certificate, it says John Moore, but other sources have just started to call him Joseph Moore.
So was this on the plantation?
I'm not sure where her parents met her. It says that her mother raised her and her sister, and they did not stay her.
She's mulatto, right?
She passed for white. She's very light skinned. Her mother had Creole, Indigenous, and African American heritage. It's assumed that the European heritage is from her father as well.
So that might be why his name wasn't mentioned or they know of him doing.
Yes, but she is not mulatto. No.
Okay.
Did he have any children?
She did marry 3 times. After she married Paul and she left Paul, she remarried another man, Henry Arthur Callis, and then their marriage did not last very long. And then she remarried an activist named Robert J. Nelson, and he already had children, and she became his stepmother too.
Oh, okay.
That's the only reason she didn't have children. There's also Alice Dunbar had some queer relationships as well. She was very open about her relationships with women.
Oh, okay.
The poem that I just read for you, You Inez, is also speculated to have been written about a woman.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah, it is.
Red mouth, flower soft,
Curved arms.
She's one of them
curving arms.
Boston wives, huh?
Is there anything else anyone would like to ask?
It was clear that she was well educated.
Yes, she attended Dillard University, now known as, Straight University, now known as Dillard University. She also furthered her education and she attended Cornell and the University of Philadelphia.
So she didn't have a problem financially?
No, she had a lot of financial support, and she was also a Delta.
Honorary.
I'm like, that's my teacher over there, y'all. That's my teacher.
Hold on, let's read up. Let's see the theory of it.
United States. God washes clean the souls and hearts of you, his favored ones, whose backs bend over the soil, which grudging gives to them requite for toil, in sober graces and in vision true. God places in your hands the power to do a service sweet, your gift supreme to foil, the bare-fanged wolves of hunger in the moil of life's activities, yet all too few your glorious band, clean sprung from nature's heart, the hope of hungry thousands in whose breast dwells fear that you should fail. God placed no dart of war within your hands, but power to start tears, praise, love, joy, enwoven in a crest to crown you glorious, brave ones of the soul.
You guys want to keep scooting on down? Yep, so we can all sit. Okay, so welcome to the Dunbar house. Paul buys this house in 1904. He's been living in Chicago with his half-brothers. He's coming back to Dayton, suffering from tuberculosis, doesn't want to do any of the treatments. Really, there is no cure for tuberculosis until the 1950s, but he wants to spend his remaining time surrounded by friends, family, and that town that supports him. So he'll buy this house, put it in his mother's name, so she'll always have somewhere to live. This house, though, is one of the first houses built in this neighborhood as well, about 1887, 1888, which makes the Dunbars about the 4th or 5th homeowners. All of the improvements I'm going to mention are done by those second homeowners, like buying this side lot to build the carriage house back here, that pink building. Dunbars don't have a horse and carriage. We know this because we have their bills, so just always know your bills will tell more about you after you die than you think. The grapevine we walked under is from their time, so that's about a 100-year-old grapevine, looking pretty great. Matilda could have used that to supplement her income or even her food. We just ask that you avoid touching things because they're either the Dunbars or actual artifacts from that time period. You're welcome to take photographs, just no flash, please.
Everybody can know that they were saying more. What's her name? What's her name? Not your father.
Seats right there that you can sit.
Watch your step back.
Not that one, the one below the wall, yep. And you're welcome to leave anything you need to leave on that as well. If you have backpacks and stuff.
Yeah, so you good coat.
Okay, so welcome on in. We come into the family and friends door, but any visitors coming to see Paul are going to be going into the formal parlor there. And if you can go all the way up to the rope on that, and you'll notice there's a separate door, so that's where only guests would come in. There's pocket doors because most people don't make it past that room as well. The curtains are in order to do temperature control. In the center of the room there, we have the family Bible, great way to track births, deaths, marriages, little tidbits like that as well. In some ways, it's the only way to know certain things about family members, as slavery will tear families apart. As we go through the house, you're going to notice it is all wallpapered, typical of the period. All of these are going to be replicas. Most of them are replicas from Sears and Roebuck's catalogs of the time. There is one room with a replica wallpaper of a pattern we know the Dunbars had, and I'll point that out when we get there as well. Do you guys have any questions so far? No? Okay, as we finish up in here, we're going to head into the dining room.
Is this the original?
I'm gonna do each room separately.
Most of the things are, yes, or of the time period. I can't tell you always specifically item by item, but generally it is from the right time period. The furnishings and all that, that is, yeah. Well, if we want to scooch on in, we can all fit in here, I promise. I can talk loud enough you can all hear me. You're welcome to go up to the rope as well. But we got the dining room here. The blue and white china is believed to be from Paul. If you guys want to scooch on in so we can fit everybody, you know, cozy, I promise. You guys are all family, so should be fine. We got the blue and white china believed to be from Paul and Alice's marriage. They're married between 1898 to 1902. That marriage will essentially end when Paul flees their DC home, goes up to New York City. And he'll end it when he asks Alice to break down that household, which leads you to that fun question of where does she send all of his stuff? Right, because he's a traveling poet. He is living in New York. He's got those half-brothers in Chicago, as well as some family here in Dayton. By the time he's here, he has most of his stuff back, not all of it. We know this because he keeps writing to her to get the rest of it back. On the back wall there, we have the nanny bench, believed to be from the time of Paul's birth, so 1872. Paul's mother, Matilda, will really need that because she's essentially a single mother for most of her life with 4 children, 2 by her first husband, 2 by her second. And so that first... So this room has been redone when the house opens in 1938. The caretakers will actually live in the house. This room has been brought back to a typical 1906 kitchen. We do know the Dunbars are on the city gas and water line, and what a luxury for Matilda, who works in domestic service, free and enslaved, to have easy water on tap, gas on tap. The Dunbars will put the phone line in September all the way on down. Yep. Well, you would move your stove out, so.
So they cook outside since there was no air.
Yeah, the second homeowners put this in. That's why you see that plate right there. That's another connection to the chimney on the wall. Yep. So, yeah, you guys are welcome to walk all the way down here. But yeah, the second homeowners put this in, as you aptly point out. It's a way to keep your house cool.
So I can stand over the AC for about 30 seconds.
Thank you, because maybe back then,
I wouldn't have known nothing about technology. So of course, I wouldn't have no choice but to make it. I'd have been like, nope, I'm gonna catch malaria. I'll catch out.
You know what? When I was in and it's amazing to see how much these homes take part in. I mean, it's totally different,
I love it, but it's also a lot. Everybody's catching up while you're walking, and you're just like, I'm like, I could walk, I could just do a walk. Yeah, so that one was this painting was done for the opening of the house. So there was an Ohio State fine arts professor, that took basically all the photographs, formal photographs we have of Paul, and painted this for the opening. His family has actually come through in the recent years. Okay, so as we go upstairs, I'm gonna ask anybody who is taller than me, please watch your head. The floor comes up real quick. The R1880 stairs, feel free to use the handrail. Take your time. We do have a seat up at the top of the stairs as well for if you need to take a little break afterwards, that's fine. We're gonna head towards the back of the house. Don't feel the need to check out the other rooms. I promise we'll see all the rooms in due time as well. I got a seat right up
Making a lot of noise.
If you I always like to point up the seats you can sit on. Okay, as we come back this way, everybody. So we do have a bathroom in the house. The second homeowners will put that in as well. This is also the only room with replica wallpaper of the pattern we know the Dunbars have. Because if you lean over and you look to the left, there's a medicine cabinet in there. There is still that wallpaper in there today, which makes you feel bad for people removing wallpaper. If you want to cycle on through as you check it out, that way everyone can see it. There's going to be a gas water heater, a nice deep tub. We're just going to cycle on through and then I promise you'll see everything. Tuberculosis mainly affects your lungs, so, you know, as we all know with sinus infections, hot showers make it nicer. And then we got the other room. Hey, if you guys want to stay over here, sir, if you want to come back, we're going to stay. If you stand right in front of me, we're going to go into this room next.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you about this next room because it is very tough. Because we all know women earn less than men at this time, and black women earn significantly less than white women. And she's got 3 grown boys she's got to feed. All the boys will work through school.
You know, they can't just drive them through, but I remember she working and stuff, so
Yeah.
maybe not even push it.
As we start working our way on in, the next room you guys are going to see is Matilda's bedroom. We got a crazy quilt on the bed. Not her work, but typical of the period. We've got it's a lovely way to show off your stitches, different fabrics you have, or even use up scrap fabrics as well. And then along the wall here, we have some of her good photographs. Above her actual rocking chair, you got a portrait of a young Paul, full of youth and vitality. And then going from left to right on the dresser there, we have her granddaughter, Helen. So her son, Robert, will be the only one of her sons to give her grandchildren. In the middle there are going to be the flowers from Paul's funeral. So that would be at Woodland Cemetery. Those flowers would come from all over because Paul tours a good chunk of the country in England and then wherever his books spread, so people wanted to pay respects to their favorite author. And the one at the very right is going to be actually her great-granddaughter graduating high school. And so Eloise, so head into Paul's bedroom. You'll see a typewriter similar to the one that he would use. There's a board underneath it to put the lid on it so he could travel with it. When you're finished in there, you're welcome to come out into the loafing holds, or you're welcome to start in there first if you'd like. At the foot of the bed, you have his actual trunk, hat box, and shoes. So if you think about it, he's going around to perform, he's got to look good, and then he's going to do what we think of today as networking, going around to luncheons, meetings, trying to spread his works as well, on top of having to keep writing to support himself, the main bread and butter of his works. This next room is the loafing holt. This is his study. This is where he works those last few years of his life. On the wall opposite of the window, you'll see a couple photographs hanging. Those were taken a couple months after his death of the room. You'll have his high school diploma from Central High School next to the window there. That's where he meets. That's where he meets Orville Wright. Everything else, we have his books, photographs of his friends and acquaintances, trinkets from his times and travels. Feel free to go between the 2 rooms. Let me know if you guys have any questions. If you're finished in both, you're welcome to stand in the hallway. These are the only 2 original beds still in the house. Yeah. Yeah, the house would have had coal heat when they were in here. Yeah.
I got a mama and all these relatives.
Watch your head, tall people, please. It's gonna be a bad day.
Yeah. That's wisdom and experience teaching that. Let the head, if you can get up under your hand.
Yep. If no one else on the right side. Yeah.
Bring it you back.
So is it air conditioning down here or what?
It's air conditioned in the entire house. It just.
Camera right there.
If you want to stand out there, then we can do this.
Gotta get up. Oh, I gotta get some Dolly Zoom out here. This is good stuff right here. Let me get my drone out. Okay. I can't believe this box.
Guess what that is? That's great.
I got my husband taking pictures right now.
Yeah, okay.
I love it.
I love it.
I feel like this is my favorite part. And the fact that he said 100 years